All right, here we go. Another great podcast this afternoon. We've got some special guests from actually my hometown, so this will be fun. This is the Vital Wire. All right. So, super excited to have you guys here.
Thanks for having us.
Raquel and Matt Stubblefield in the house. I'm just going to kind of intro your business for you because I am trying to figure out how to remember, is it Brush Valley Creek or Brush Creek Valley? I get it mixed up every
You are not the first one.
Everybody does.
I'm tempted to change the name if we hadn't been in
But
business.
we've already
for
got
so
the
long.
logo.
It's Brush Creek Valley.
Okay.
So Brush Creek is the creek that runs between me and my dad's farm, and so since we were kind of running the operation on both places, we started to call it Brush Creek Valley.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
love that.
But it's so long because Brush Creek LLC was already taken, Brush Creek Farms was already taken, so it's like Brush Creek Valley was already taken. So Brush Creek Valley Farms is the only name we could. That's why it's so long.
Hey,
but yeah.
rock it like you have it, right?
I guess, yeah.
I love it.
I mean, it's on the logo, so
Yeah.
we're stuck with it for a while.
I love it. I love it. So, well, first of all, let's go through how on the front end here, how do we get a hold of you? Because we're going to talk about all things farming, grass-fed, natural beef, but on the front end, how do people get a hold of you? What are your socials?
Yeah, so we're on Instagram and Facebook, Brush Creek Valley Farms, and then brushcreekvalley.com is our website. If they want to check us out, get a meat
Very
box or
nice.
something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very good. So, where are you guys located? I mean, I already alluded to it's my hometown, but I'll let you tell the story. Where are you guys at?
Great and wonderful Crawford County.
Yeah.
So ordering online, we deliver everywhere between Rolla and St. Louis.
Yeah, I go from Waynesville to St. Louis,
Waynesville
but
to St.
out of
Louis.
Cuba
Mm.
is
Out of
where
Cuba
our
is
farm
our-
is. Yeah.
Yep.
So how did, I mean, I know a little bit of your history. I mean, you were just telling us even off the air. So, but how did you guys, why'd you get into farming? How did that all happen?
Well, I grew up farming, and then when I graduated high school, my brother and my dad bought the livestock market in Lebanon, Missouri. So I went working for them. We were backgrounding feeders, so at the time we had about 1,000 head of cattle. We had over 200 mama cows, about 700 calves we were backgrounding at a time. And then we did that for a few years, and the market kind of changed around, 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. And my brother started building houses, and me and Raquel decided to take a different approach and start doing direct consumer marketing. So we
Nice.
read
That's
a
so
couple of books your
cool.
uncle
Yeah.
actually sent us called from Joel Salatin.
Yeah.
It kind of walked us through the basics of starting your own brand like that. And I don't know, just thought we'd try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how has that worked out?
Right out, yeah, pretty good.
It's been alright. The last 5 years, it's been alright.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we were tired of not being able to find good meat. You know, if we
Yeah.
didn't
Oh my
have
gosh,
meat in
yeah.
our freezer, we really didn't buy meat in the store. It just wasn't good. And you know, we are in Cuba, so we don't have high-end meat markets to buy
Right.
decent meat from. So we were like, other people have this issue too. We can tell they don't even know what tastes good. We wanted to provide good meat to more people,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
I love
So,
that.
Yeah.
It's crazy because me knowing, I mean, obviously we both graduated from Cuba High School. That's,
All right.
Got
Got that
and
great
it's,
education.
Right.
look at us now, right?
Right.
But it's knowing what I know about that area. It's amazing. Like you said, it's we don't have, great grade meat markets. It's but we've got the
We're
cattle.
massive.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
It's how do you have the cattle and you don't have the market to be, it's
Well,
Yeah.
we just get taken advantage of. So all the good meat that gets raised in the heartland gets really shipped out everywhere else, and they import junk meat from South America and what else to feed the people that raise the other stuff. So
Right. Gosh,
it's just
that's
kind of
so
funny.
true.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
yeah.
weird, kind
So-
of a little bit backwards. That's
It
for
is a
sure.
little bit,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's one of the
Gotta
reasons we
change
like doing, try to do local beef and everything else, is because this is where the good quality product comes from, and most people don't get it. They're getting the junk that's been imported in. So this has kind of been a nice change.
So, and that's why now we get to head on our passionate mission-based soapbox here a little bit. I'm going to
Yes.
provoke it. I'm
Love
going to
it.
get the prod out right
Okay.
now. very much pun intended. But literally, you're starting to talk about why you do it.
Gotcha.
So tell us a little more about that, because you were just about on your own when on a passionate rant.
I do get a little upset about
So,
that.
but seriously,
That's
let's
good.
talk
Yeah.
about that. I mean,
Okay.
here's
As you
you get
should.
in, market change, cool. You had to make a shift, great, but you're very passionate about what you do. So expand a little bit, both of you, on why you're so passionate about it.
Are we talking like Cowboys versus the Packers? We're going down that type of like the
Go
big
down there.
Packers. When we say Cowboys versus the Packers, like us against the big four Packers of the world. Is that what we're
Go
talking
for it.
about?
Yeah,
How they-
absolutely.
Okay, you start out because you always talk. You're better about starting out.
Well, in my opinion, a lot of times these big packers just take advantage of the small farmers, and every time it seems like the farmer starts to make a profit, something happens, and it turns it back the other way. You know, so
Do you guys know when we say the Packers? Do you know who we're talking about? Like the four main.
I know what you're talking about. I couldn't name them.
Well, now it might even be more like two. Like
it
JBS.
doesn't matter.
No.
Roughly 85% of the world's meat supply is ran by 4 companies, and they don't have to talk to each other to manipulate the market and take advantage of
Right.
the small farmers and stuff like that.
Right.
And man, I kind of forgot where I was
Sorry,
going. with
did
that.
I throw
No,
you?
no, it's all right.
They
It's
do.
all right.
So they manipulate the market. They, back in 2020, I don't know if you
That
guys.
was the most obvious, I think.
That was the most obvious, and things like this have happened before. But do you guys remember back in 2020 when like all the local meat processors were just booked up? We couldn't find meat in the stores.
Yeah.
Like the Tyson
I try to
place were
forget
closed
the
down.
past 3
shortage.
years.
I was just
Yeah,
gonna
I
say
know,
the
it's like-
shortage,
Yeah.
The
the
shortage.
meat shortage, the
Yeah.
chicken
So like
shortage.
the thing is, there wasn't
Yeah.
a real shortage. They shut down all the packing plants themselves, and they weren't processing any product anymore. So then all their meat lockers were full. So then what they did was they held on to their product and just slowly distributed it at like an inflated price. So they made roughly 4 times the profit that year than they normally did. And on top of that, by the time they were willing to buy back from the farmers were so desperate to move animals, they were buying them back for like pennies on the dollar. So then when it came to buying their next crop, they even basically stole it.
Yeah,
You
their
know?
own
That's so
contracted
annoying.
farmers
Yeah.
that
So
it's
Right.
nuts.
yeah, so there's a hog farm up in Illinois that they weren't taking pigs anymore. I'm not gonna name which company wasn't buying from them anymore,
Sure.
Right,
but
right.
Yeah.
but they won't. And the thing with these hog farmers, they can only get their pigs so heavy before they get docked and priced because the equipment can't actually move the pigs around. So we went up and I got a gooseneck trailer load of hogs from this guy, and he was telling me how his neighbor had 5,000 pigs that had to euthanize and put in a wood chipper.
Oh,
So it wasn't actually like raising and growing the meat. It was actually just getting it processed and
Pricing it.
actually distributing it.
wow.
Goodness gracious.
So
Yeah, it was pretty terrible. Like
Yeah.
so these bigger companies that, these small farmers, they were relying on these big companies to buy from them as they had for years, and then they just quit buying from them.
Right.
And they couldn't afford to keep feeding them.
Well,
They-
no.
and then they
Right.
got so big, like what Matt was saying, then they get docked, and then they would lose money because they got so big on top of the feed they put in. It was a terrible.
Yeah.
So that's how the Cowboys versus the Packers, how they kind of screw over the small guys.
yeah.
And then, they sell their meat so cheap and get into all these big stores. The little guys like us who raise an honest product with an honest price.
Right.
Ours are always going to be more expensive. We cannot compete. Our profit margins are much smaller than theirs are, but we can't.
we're doing a pretty
compete.
good job of feeding pound for pound for
We do.
most of the time.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and here's the thing that I think
Especially
people need to
quality.
know too. Bingo. And this is why I wanted to have you guys on, because our
Right.
the mission's the same, and we always, even on the healthcare side of things, we think we don't think anymore. We know that a lot of times people make decisions because they don't know either the options, they don't know who to trust, and they just don't know where to go, but they have to make a decision,
Right.
So this is why I wanted to have you guys on, because now I know where we're getting our beef from going forward. Like we
Yeah,
get
no
we
kidding.
we get our stuff straight off the farm. We just got, I told you last week, our half a cow's almost gone. Now I know where to go.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think if people in this area knew that what you guys do, who you guys are, that you're a part of this community. I mean, Crawford County is not that far. It's an hour
Right.
and 15 minutes to
Right,
home, right?
right.
But it's like, I think if people knew, people that are going to listen to this podcast
Yeah.
and they're going to ask more questions, they're going to know where to go, but I don't think they know the story. And we can get very passionate and be, you know, Cowboys versus the Packers, and we
Yeah.
can like
Right,
really
right.
rip some stuff apart, and I'm all for that, and we can keep going down that route. But at the end of the day, people who know this, and like, even like you said, like they have 5,000 head of pig, and they're just, they can't do anything with. And,
Right.
and it's like, you know
Yeah.
what? I'd rather buy from these guys,
Yeah.
and they should pay more.
Yeah.
Because your family you're raising, the farm you have, the quality of beef,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what they're going to be eating, and that's another road we're going to go down here. I know we are, and why it's so important to eat grass-fed, all-natural
Right.
stuff. But you're so right. It's like the quality you're putting out. It's like these 4 Packers, great. You want to pay 50 cents less a pound, 75 cents, whatever
Right.
it is. I don't know what the market is, but if they knew who you guys were, they'd probably gladly pay more.
Yeah.
Right.
I think knowing that we're an option, or other small farmers is an option, is a big deal too. One of our missions is to try to be as convenient as possible. I know there's a lot of people that want to buy from their local farmer. It sounds foreign. It sounds inconvenient and hard. Like you have to drive down a gravel
just
road
gonna
for
say
a
that,
mile. Like it just
yeah.
sounds inconvenient, right? And we're all busy. So one of our missions is just to make it as easy as possible. Like we're not Amazon, but we try to model them as much as we can.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
it is so hard. I mean, like, you know, before, for obviously, we like knew you guys were even a source. We did get a half a cow, and we only got that because somebody else knew how to do it.
Yeah.
Like, we
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
even know how. I mean,
Right.
like, we had heard about it, and we'd always wanted to because we knew that in-store meat wasn't great. I
Right.
didn't realize how much different
Yeah.
it was.
Yes.
yeah.
Holy heck.
Yes.
I literally, I told my mom, I'm like, I'm never eating like store-bought beef again. I was
Yeah.
like, there's no way I could.
Yeah.
After having like my own cow,
Yeah.
essentially.
yeah, and you know what it's supposed to taste like and
Yes.
smell like. And
Yes,
look like.
and then
It's
so
way
like
different.
after that, even like looking for chickens, looking for anything, you have to go to their certain drop-off locations, and they're only there between this hour and this hour, and all
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
So like knowing that you guys are even making it even more convenient and open and honest is super cool because it is so tough nowadays to even go about that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's worked out well for us to be able to deliver, and we do like pick up locations as well. But
Yeah.
just delivering, I mean, we're all used to getting stuff delivered, so
Yeah.
we've got to be able to keep up
Yep.
with that as much as we can.
That Amazon, like you
I
said,
know, it gets me
the
good.
convenience,
It
it
gets me
does.
good.
I mean, in Missouri now, you can get it within like the same day.
Is that
know.
right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Maybe not in Cuba.
Yeah, right.
I have had next day a couple times.
Yes.
So here's the goal. So then
Right.
we're just gonna make Brush Creek Valley Farms the Amazon of all natural
Yeah.
beef, and you do pork now, right? Too.
Beef and pork, yeah.
That's
And
what we
so it's
want,
like
yeah.
we'll just start in Missouri, and we'll help however we can. I mean,
Yeah.
on my
Well, thank
weekends, if
you.
you need me to deliver some stuff,
Yeah,
let me know. I
sure.
guess
Hey,
get it up there.
I'm all
I'll
about
figure
it.
it out.
We love
But
windshield time.
let's just do that.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to complain with that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. That sounds great.
So
We-
why? So why is it, other than obviously you're feeding a family, and if people knew, like I said, if people knew who they were buying from, they'd probably buy more of it at a price they really don't care about. But let's keep going a little bit down the passion of why you do what you do and why it's so important, not just from the market side of things,
Okay.
but how we're raising
The
and
production.
manufacturing our
Okay.
food anymore.
Yes.
Because that was something when we first talked too, it's like, holy cow, it's like what they put in it and why people don't
Right.
know what they're eating.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly.
So we always keep our cattle on pasture their entire lives, basically. That gives them a wide variety of diet to pick and graze on. They get plenty of exercise, fresh air. We do supplement with grain to help with marbling, but that just helps out with them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
And you can tell by the way they look. They just look and act so much better than compared to what the competitor does, which is confine everything in like a lot where they don't get exercise, don't get fresh air,
Yeah.
and pretty dirty all the time, and they get a very bland diet. They don't get a variety diet, so that's where you're missing a lot of your nutrients in your meat, actually. So
Interesting.
yeah,
The more you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this could be, and I think it's coming, and I'm glad that you guys are kind of on the forefront in our area of this, of getting it out. Because here's I'm going to kind of dog
Yeah,
leg
go
here
ahead.
for a second. here's how I found out about you guys. Well, one, I'm connected. Your sister did our wedding photos.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
as,
yeah,
so
yeah,
as she
yeah.
shares stuff,
Gosh, she's so good.
She's good.
you know, and then all of a sudden I see this logo. I'm like, that's cool. I mean, I'm a few years older than you.
Right,
You know,
right,
most of
right,
the
right.
rest of your family, I was a little more.
Well, I think
same
you
age,
helped your
right?
dad coach football when I was like in
Yeah.
7th grade, right?
Right, exactly. So you're probably what year did you graduate?
09, so I was a year older than your brother.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, so you played with Brett. So, but yeah, but I was like, well, this is cool. And then all of a sudden, like Sarah Tilley blew my mind. But then I'm like, holy shit.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, hang on a second, that logo's on a it's on a cup car. I'm like, hang on a second here.
oh, yeah.
So then I'm like,
so fun.
well,
Yeah,
this
oh,
is
that was
great
awesome.
because everybody
Yeah.
knows us by now. It's like, yes, I race dirt modifieds. I've got friends in the racing world. We just did a podcast with Gordy, and it's just like, but I was like, well, that's freaking cool.
Yeah.
But I didn't exactly know what it is you guys were doing, and then I figured it out, and I'm like, well, that really started it. So in case you were wondering, yes, it
Yeah.
worked. That was
Right.
probably a bit.
Awesome.
We were wondering that.
Yes, it worked.
that.
But I was
Nice.
like, man, I was like, talk about on mission, on hobby, on everything. It's like,
Yeah.
well, this is freaking awesome.
That's
'Cause-
awesome.
But yeah, so I was like, well, how can I support these guys even more? They're from my hometown, but that was really my first look into Brush Creek Valley Farms.
I'm fairly certain his exact words were, well, I'll be damned or something like that. And it was like, Cuba's on the NASCAR.
That was
what?
really cool to see Cuba, Missouri on. I mean, that was a cool feeling.
Because that was
was
what,
like,
Watkins
oh,
Glen,
shit,
right?
that's
You,
cool.
guys, you guys had it at Watkins Glen?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I was like, holy cow. And so, funny story, like, we need to get back on track here, but one of my good buddies who got me back in the racing scene here, Kyle Steffens,
Okay.
is friends with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
Got
because
it.
he said something, remind me his name, I know Sarah.
Was it
Kyle
Tilley?
Tilley?
Yeah, Kyle Tilley. So
Yeah.
Kyle Steffens, and so he's like, yeah, my buddy Kyle Tilley, and I'm like, hang on, and I saw Sarah, who was Foster, right?
Mhm. Right,
And I was
right,
like,
right.
well, I knew her maiden name. I was like, hang on a second. He goes, yeah. She's like, redhead. I was like, holy cow! I was like, this is sweet.
Yeah.
So immediately
What a
I knew the
small
connection. I was
world.
like, well, I think I know how that linked up potentially, but it was like cool. It's like Cuba, Missouri is at Watkins Glen all
Yeah.
over a NASCAR, not just like a logo this big. Like we
Right.
are all over this car
I
right
mean,
now.
Yeah.
So
I
I
was-
geeked out over it. It worked. She's bought beef. She's bought beef. We're
Yeah.
buying
Oh,
more
yay.
beef. Like
Yeah, I
if
told
it
them
hasn't
we're
paid
walking away
off
with a
yet,
box
it's about
today.
It's
to.
about to. I like the sound. I do like the sound of
Well,
that. And I will say this about like Cuba. Whatever reason, people from Cuba stay loyal to the town. They want to help out everybody in the
Nice.
area, and I do love that about our community.
That's
Yeah.
the beauty of small
You know,
towns.
like you
man.
left and
Yeah,
you're still
really.
trying
I
to
know.
help us out.
Yeah, I know.
I
You
didn't
know,
even
and
live
that's-
there.
Right.
And I would come in the
Cuba.
summer.
And that's what people should know
loved
about
it.
Cuba, because I also know the other side of it. So let me just phase this right now. Just know a lot of us that leave don't have any intentions of not coming back.
Right.
Like, I'm
Oh,
there
we
building
know.
motors.
We've been there
Like
long
we
enough.
are going to support, and that's why. But yeah, so that was super cool. Just how it all came full circle with the people we graduated with, what you guys are doing. So yeah, but that's when I also
to
had
be.
called you.
Right?
And I was like, we start the podcast. I'm like, who
Right.
better than this? You guys are on my. I'm scrolling. I'm like, Ryan, I need their number like now.
Literally,
One,
he
if they
was like,
want to
"Wait
get
a
in the
minute."
racing world, I've got the avenue. Two,
Right.
they're going to be on the podcast because one, I need beef, but they're also local, and our family here needs it. And we started talking about why it's so important. You know, what you put in your food and how you're growing it, and then that's how we all ended up in this room together. So.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys.
What else? What else should we
Appreciate
know about? I mean, let's just keep going on the farm raised beef and why it's so important that we order
it. Yeah.
this kind of food.
Well, I think supporting local farmers should really be on everyone's mission, because a lot of times these corporations really, and I don't mean to get back on the
No, you're
corporation,
good.
I
No.
don't.
Do it.
But they take advantage of small farmers, and one farm can't feed America. So it's going to take a collection of small farmers throughout the entire United States working together as small processing facilities. And not only will the American people get a better quality product, they'll get a more healthy product. More nutrition, more nutritionally dense. I don't know how I'm trying to say that right now.
No,
but
that sounds
Yeah.
great.
more
Yeah.
nutrient dense. And I think it would help out on a lot of aspects, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Health,
Yeah.
wellness.
Health, wellness.
Like we of
The
course
environment,
wanna
everything.
be
Yeah.
as big as we can, but in all reality, like he said, we need a lot of small American farmers.
Right.
And so that's like another mission of ours, is to keep linking up with other small farmers and help build their brand. I mean,
love
obviously
that.
I want to sell more than anybody.
Cheney.
But
That's going to be really
Watch
loud,
this.
guys.
That's
Sorry.
pretty good. Yeah. What's the name of your family's farm? They're cattle farmers in Colorado.
Oh,
Really?
Wait.
Very cool.
Nice. Have I heard of that before?
I don't know. What kind of cattle they run? Oh, okay.
Nice.
Where at in Colorado?
In Orchard, Colorado, if you know where Kersey, Colorado is, it's 20 miles east of there. Or Greeley, Colorado, it's 30 miles east of there.
And if you
nice.
don't know, now you can figure it out.
Now I can
can find
So
figure
as
it
soon as
out.
you said that, I was thinking about this. I'm like, at some point in time, you guys are going to be collaborators. I know you're going to say.
Yeah.
And I was like waiting for the right moment. That literally in this office right now, we just made the connection for you
Nice.
For
guys.
2 more, yeah.
All right.
So
It's nice meeting you.
What's that?
Do you know where Anschutz is?
I don't know where anything in Colorado is. I'm not gonna lie to you.
We drove through Denver once.
Yeah.
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 I might have been sleeping. Yeah.
So now there's a conversation we can have after this.
There it
Yeah,
is.
that
absolutely.
the
They
more
were just
people you
talking
know.
about wanting to connect with more like small farmers.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Bingo, making connections. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll
All
love
right.
that family too. They're great.
Yeah.
Texas, too.
Oh.
Yep. Look at
This
that.
is why-
Colorado, Texas,
Missouri,
the
we
best
love
states.
it.
This is why we
Heck
do what we
yes.
do. Like this is the intention of literally vital performance at its core. Our number
Nice.
one is genuine. I told you that at the beginning,
Right.
and I was like, you know what? If we can just connect more people with great people,
Yeah.
and the mindset of like, look, we've got at some point in time, the little guy has to. We got to take
Win.
back what's
Yes.
ours and start winning.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So it's like,
I
let's
agree.
just. I mean, now that you guys are going to go home now and be like, okay, let's learn about Colorado, and now you have a contact too, where if there's anything you need, resources, info, like they
Right.
have been doing it a long time too, much like you guys have and
That's
your family
awesome.
has. So there you go.
I want to get her information before we leave. I kind of want to look into that.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love how people run cattle in other states because it's always a little different, you know? So that's pretty cool too.
That's
Yeah.
so fun. No, but I do love like your whole mission about small town farmers or just small business farmers essentially becoming the main
Right.
in the US because during COVID and all of the BS we aren't ones to just run with the mainstream media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So we knew
Same.
something else was
Likewise.
up. I love diving down my rabbit holes, and
Uh-huh.
I knew it was all BS.
Yeah.
Right. When it came to all of that, and that's really when we started looking into getting our own cow. Like, how can we, raise our own chickens? Like all of that stuff. And I think it's the perfect opportunity for you guys because a lot of people, which we talk about all the time too, are now asking questions.
They
Yes.
They're
are.
figuring
They
it
are.
out. They're no
Yes.
longer just going by, the book quote
Right.
The
unquote.
norm.
Right.
They're,
What they've
they're
always
looking
thought.
for it, and they're
Yes.
wanting to know more. And I just love that that's part of your guys' mission is just teaching them how and making it convenient and like
Yeah.
let's all come together and make the U.S. great again.
Right. Amen. Absolutely.
I don't have any
couldn't
problem
agree
stealing
with
that
you more.
slogan. I like that.
Yeah. I agree.
No,
But
and
yeah.
you're really onto something because, like, before COVID, we were kind of looked at more of like a hobby, like a cute,
Yeah,
neat
People
idea.
thought it was
Right.
so
Aw,
You know,
Aw,
even though
you
we were
got
doing it for a living,
cows.
people were like, "Oh, that's neat. What do you do?
kind
What do you
of
really
cows?
do?"
Yeah.
How many do you have? 5 or 6?
5, 6.
Someone
They're
tell
not
us
pets.
You got
something.
the Oreo
Right.
one?
What do you
Yeah.
name?
Like, oh yeah, cute.
But
That's
then after
fun.
COVID, everyone got serious about it. They wanted to know where their meat was coming from. They
Yeah.
wanted to know the story behind it. They wanted to know.
They saw how unstable
Unstable
the
the-
food supply was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
I thought we were talking together.
We
I just
were.
interrupted you. I didn't
No,
mean to.
that was,
I
that
loved
was
the
last
vibe. It was
venture,
great.
Yeah. COVID was that whole situation. 2020. When I say COVID,
Yeah.
that
Oh,
whole
yeah.
situation was like good for us in a lot of ways because, like you said, people started finally asking questions where before they
Yep.
just thought
Straw
it was
that
like,
broke
oh,
camel's
that's
back.
cute, or like, I don't know, it sounds really inconvenient to buy from the local farmer. Do I really
Exactly.
need to? Is it really that big of a
Right.
difference? And now they're like, wait. Hormones in my food? Hormones? Yeah, like everything you eat.
Or just tasting our
Exactly.
food's the biggest one, I think.
And then, yeah,
I think
just
when people
tasting
actually
it.
taste it and feel the quality and see the quality, it's a
The
big
first time I
difference.
cooked, like, our
Real
cow,
meat.
it was nuts. I
Yeah.
was like, holy shit.
Well,
Yeah.
the first thing she
Smells
said,
good.
yeah, the first thing she said was like, "Man, this stuff just like cooks different." I was like, "Yeah, wait till you smell it and taste it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's
It
like,
was
whoa.
so crazy.
It's a
And
game
Yeah.
changer.
I unwrapped it, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
the
awesome.
whole thing looks different, tastes different,
It
smells like,
does. And like the
cooks
fat
different.
is good fat. You don't have to worry.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, in the
Yes.
store, for ground products anyway, they'll inject it with like extra water to make it weigh more. And so,
So
you
let's-
have all
how many
that
animals are
runoff.
actually
let's-
in their ground beef?
Yeah, right.
So let's go
God.
down this road real
Yeah.
quick because
Yeah.
this is something that I wanted. This is why I said this is going to go long.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what people need to know,
Oh.
especially from, the market standpoint.
Okay.
Yes, like people need to know a little bit on fire. Like we're going to magnetize the people who want to be here, want to listen to this, and I think
Yes.
90% of the people plus are going to love this podcast, every single bit about it. But I do want you to touch on, and you both can do it, obviously, what is in it, why it's important, like just call it out. You don't have to name brands,
Okay.
but why is Brush Creek Valley Farms, what is in their meat? Like, and what is in other meat? What's in the ground beef? What the antibiotics? How is it built? Talk
Okay.
about that.
Okay.
Okay.
So one of the things for us, like we have no unnecessary antibiotics. So we don't put them on a program like that. We don't give them any shots. The only time that animal might get antibiotics is way before we start feeding them or finishing them, and that's just to save a life early on in its life.
It's literally to
It's
save their life.
way out of their
Okay.
system before we do any processing or anything like
Yeah.
that.
And you should know too, like local processors. I know ours anyway. Our processing facility,
We have to get our meat tested.
we have to get all of our meat tested to make sure there's no like hormones or no antibiotics or anything in there.
I love
So
that.
just so everyone else knows, that's pretty for another small meat packing rule is like you have to get your meat tested if
That's
it's inspected.
fabulous.
Good.
Yeah. So
Yep.
anyway,
No, the biggest thing for us though, like, let's talk about ground product, because like what I love about our ground beef is like I call it like single beef, burger. Like you have like your single barrel whiskey.
Yeah, I was just gonna
your
say.
high dollar whiskey, but then
No,
your
I know
cheap
nothing
whiskey-
about that at
Right.
all.
No, I don't. What's whiskey?
well, yeah, what's beef? I don't know.
Anyway, but like it's the same. But your cheap whiskey is like when they put a bunch of different barrels together, right? Well, it's the same way with like your ground beef in the grocery store. I don't know how many animals are in 1 pound of ground beef.
Yeah.
They'll
Goodness,
take,
yeah.
one will be nasty fat. They'll take something really lean and like, somewhat
Combine.
gritty, throw it in there, try to like mix it up to find the
Something
rationing they
kinda
like.
old.
They got a lot of water mixed in with it, and it's just nasty how they do
And
it.
they do
Yeah.
pump dye in
You know.
it to keep that preservation color
Yeah.
for the steaks and the ground.
We do
Just so
nothing
you
like
guys
that.
know.
It's just we just
Let her ride.
just good steak trimmings is what.
Yeah,
makes
they
it
have
That's
a
so
they have a
great.
scale that sits in front of them, and they've got these numbers on the scale, and they don't care what the hell is in it. It could be squirrel,
as it hits
rabbit,
that.
chicken, like water,
one part
dye.
of this, one part of that.
So, in summary, I want everybody to catch what was just said. One, we've got antibiotic conversation.
Yep.
Two, we have dyes that are pumped in, which go research the dyes and what that does to
Your kid
bodies,
has ADHD,
kids,
just
saying.
kids' bodies, adult bodies, what dyes do to the body. Period. The mixture of meats,
Yep.
the fat content difference in
Right.
how it's built and fed and taken. Those are all things that people are asking about, and we could have blasted through that very, very quickly. So I'm just summarizing that now because people
yeah.
would be like, hang on, let me go back real quick. So go ahead.
I was gonna say because also if you think about it from a fast food perspective, even as a different one, like everybody always makes jokes that the chicken nuggets aren't real chicken nuggets at
Right.
McDonald's or whatever, and if you want the good stuff, you go here or don't eat fast food.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing. It sounds like for packaged product at a grocery store.
It's
Yeah.
Like
right.
if they realized, and as I said, a lot more people are starting to really figure it out, but the sooner everybody figures out that you're basically getting a McDonald's chicken nugget if you're getting it from the store,
Yes,
the better off all of America would be.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. 'Cause
absolutely.
we only, harvest good, young, healthy animals. We don't try to take part of an old cow and mix it with part of a young cow and part of like something. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
don't try
Yeah.
to like
Mash it all together.
mesh it all together to get like a, I don't know, something what they think's edible.
Yeah,
Right.
A composite, we call that.
Call it. Another
Exactly.
thing, I think I've had a ton of customers email me, text me, call me, and ask me if we're giving cattle the mRNA vaccine. Have you guys heard of that
Yes,
for cattle?
For
Yes.
cattle,
Fill
for
us in.
animals,
Go
all
ahead.
of
So
that.
that's not a thing.
That's nothing
As
we're
far
planning
as-
on ever doing.
Right, like the vet's kind of keeping us updated, but nothing will. Of course, we wouldn't plan on doing it. We didn't get the vaccine ourselves.
We
We're
didn't
not-
either.
We wouldn't give. We don't give like unnecessary anything to our animals.
Wonderful.
But it's not a thing. So as far as I know, what happened is a guy thought. Okay,
I
so
don't know
there's a
enough about it
rumor.
to be
I don't know a
accurate.
lot about it. This is what I do know. There's a rumor going around, of course, starting in California, working its way east, that we would have to start putting the mRNA vaccine in cattle. Period. probably they would raise taxes if we didn't, or something else, whatever.
Of course. The penalty.
And so a guy, was it in Missouri?
Mm-hmm.
He went ahead and was like, hey, if this is going to happen, I want there to be a mRNA label on all the beef. Like, if that beef has it in there, it needs to be required that there's a label. Well, they turned
But there's not an mRNA vaccine for cattle in production right now.
There's
correct?
not one in production.
Right.
And they turned it down. And so since it got turned down to have that label on there, then that caused a bunch of hype around that.
Okay.
So as far as I know, that hasn't even passed. No one has done that
Good.
yet.
I don't think anyone's putting.
I don't
As
think
it
anybody's
shouldn't.
even done that yet. But everyone
Just
I've
trying
talked
to put
they're
everyone's
like,
mind at ease.
Why would
Yeah.
you do that?
Good.
Right.
why?
Right.
Like you do that. So anyway, just to kind of clear the air, I know like we've had a lot
Yeah.
of our customers ask, and there's a lot of, I of course don't know everything that's going on, but it's just a bunch of rumors. But apparently there was a guy that tried to get a label and they declined. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's not even a thing right now.
Good.
I love that.
So on that topic, then let's. What are some other most common questions, frequently asked questions
I
that
love
you get
that.
asked?
That's great.
Is our
Okay.
meat gluten free? Yes, it is.
Hey,
I get that question
that's
all
a
the
big
time.
one.
It's on our Q&As on our website
is.
because I get it so much.
Yeah.
What are some other
That's
good
such a funny
questions?
one you have to clarify. Too.
Yeah.
Are cattle genetically modified? No, they're not. They're just cows.
Right. They're no. Yeah.
They
no
go
GMO.
moo.
Oh,
You don't
so-
have like sweet cows.
We
and-
don't have sweet cow. We don't have big. We don't have different.
Do you have
breeds.
chocolate cows?
That would be
They
cool.
love chocolate. So I think there is a lot of confusion. You know, with a lot of farmers are selling direct to consumers, so there's a lot of hype words these days. Like
Right.
there's sprout finished, grass finished,
Oh.
grain finished, I don't know, wagyu finished, like whatever you want,
Yeah.
whatever. There's a lot of them, clover finished, whatever. I think
Organic, regenerative, sustainable.
organic,
Right.
regenerative, sustainable, they're all good.
Okay.
Like, I just want people to
Beautiful.
know they're all good. I think if you're buying from a farmer, you can ask them any questions you want. They'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. But they're all good. I don't want people to get carried away and not support a local farmer because they're too nervous about, am I going to buy it what if, I don't know, what is it, regenerative? I don't know what that means. And
Right.
regenerative's like it's great. Most farmers I know are
Right.
regenerative. They don't know it because it's a new word
Yeah.
that's coming around. We
that's
were
fair.
using sustainable, and now sustainable's not right. So now we're using regenerative. I'm like, when is this going to be wrong? Like, I'm just trying to keep up with it for social
Yes.
media purposes. You know, it's
Yes.
kind of rough. But so I do want to clear the air on that. But we say we are pasture raised because our cattle. I know it's crazy.
I'm sorry, those cows
It's like
get their
those
feelings
things-
hurt so easy.
Like, their feelings hurt. It's like, hey, don't mislabel me, okay? Don't mislabel. It's a huge deal.
Gotta get their pronouns right.
I know. I'm not a heifer. I'm a cow now.
Not a heifer. I'm not a heifer.
I'm not a cow, I'm a steer. No.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you. I'm
Nope.
just-
I love
Nope.
that so much.
Yeah, but people get really caught up in it, and I think it could detour someone from like wanting to support local because they get like spend so much time on it they don't know what to do.
Yeah,
you know how that
it's,
happens.
it's like the confusion of the education itself. They're like, but I need this, and you're like,
Right.
but it's the exact same
It's
thing.
That was the
yeah.
hardest thing I
Different
think when we
words.
started
Yeah.
opening was
Yeah.
tap dancing around all the right terms so people
Yeah.
would buy from
Yeah, you
us.
tap
Right.
dance
And it
around
was-
it. Or they'd be like, are you certified organic? And it's not, I will never say like this farm is this way, so I would buy from me instead. Like
Right.
that's not how
Right.
it should go.
Right.
But there's a great certified organic farm down the road. But I looked into it, but it's like 10 grand for the certificate. Do I want to do that?
It's
No.
literally just paying to say,
Well, that
Yeah.
being
my name on
And,
certified.
and then the big companies like that
Right.
have certified organic labels, not the farm down the road, but the bigger companies, they don't treat their animals better than we treat our animals.
Right.
You know, they're still in confinement.
Right.
They're just giving their animals certified organic feed.
Yes.
Right,
That's
so-
what,
Yeah,
You know,
so I
being
don't want people to
organic
get
doesn't
caught up in-
guarantee an animal's well-being or environmental
No.
impact. It's just a
No.
nice word if you can follow along the right dots. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
we know that one. We love
That's so good.
that.
That's the same way
Yeah,
we
the
are too. It's
greenwashing.
like I mean, and you're going to magnetize the people who want to work with you anyway, and you should. So be you. Like I said, our number one core value is genuine. Be you. I did the same thing. We did the same thing, and,
Yeah.
and because the reason why is because we're here for anybody.
yeah,
We're here for anybody. We're not for everybody.
Right.
I like that, yeah.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's why, so at the same time, too, that farm that I probably know as well down the road, is they're not that they're any better or any worse, but at the same time, it's like, I don't care where you get chiropractic from, as long as you get it.
Yeah.
Because I'm here for anybody, but not for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and if they don't magnetize with anything they said, that you guys said here on this podcast, you can refer them to the one down the road that they might magnetize with better.
Absolutely.
Because
There you
it's going to bring credibility and a loyalty about you too. They're going to have, you know what, at least they sent me somewhere that is just
And
as
we
good.
Yeah.
have actually sent people to other farmers.
Yeah.
That's
So-
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they were like, no, I need this, okay.
You're like, okay, here
Yeah.
you
Well,
go.
which is why too,
Absolutely.
like somebody's going to hear this, or now that we've mentioned Colorado, we've introduced you to Cheney,
There you
and,
go.
and you're going to be like, oh man, I don't know if I can get beef up to Greeley, Colorado as fast as we would want to ensure the quality of product that we're putting out.
Yeah.
However,
got
Kingsbury Ranch has
somebody.
it,
That's right.
and I bet you they can get you exactly what you're looking
Exactly.
for. How
Right,
best
they're
to-
lo- it'd be-
it's like,
And if we can keep
why
like
not?
American farmers farming by doing things like
Yeah.
that, then it's a win. That's
Yes.
what we need to do.
100%.
Yeah.
I love
Agreed.
that.
Yeah.
so one thing that we didn't talk about, we could sit here, we might have to do a part 2
Oh my
eventually.
gosh, it would be
I hope you
so
guys have
fun.
enjoyed
No, this has
this.
actually
No,
been a
we
lot of
have.
fun.
I
This
love
it.
conversation
Good.
can flow
Here's-
really easy.
I'm
I
gonna
like
be real
it.
honest with you.
Talk
I'm gonna throw Matt under the bus right now.
Oh, shit.
I'm talking to
I'm
Raquel. I'm
excited.
like, well, Matt ain't gonna talk. He's gonna be out tickling cows and stuff. I was like, I don't expect him. I don't expect him to answer any of this. I was like, but Matt's also thinking, he's like, damn, I really could be getting stuff done. I don't know if I can go up to St. Louis and do this thing. And it's like, no. His ass is coming. Like, and he's going to enjoy it. By the end of it, I'm going to win him over. And he's like,
That's
man, I'm damn glad I went up there
Yeah.
and did that.
I am. You win.
I
And
knew
you're
that-
right, the whole way up he was like,
Yeah.
this is worth it, right? Yeah, we're going up there, right? Yeah, it is.
Like I said,
It's how it is.
it's-
We knew
your
it would be.
NASCAR sponsorship is going to pay off, and it has. This will pay
see.
off, and it has. And you're going to come up here and do a damn part 2. So
Yeah.
You've already sold me. I agree. All right. Yeah.
because we haven't even talked about the nutrition and why our kids should be eating this kind of beef and
yes.
stuff too.
Right, right.
True,
So
yes.
let's. I'm just going to put it out there. Let's cliffhang it.
Okay.
And
Cliffhanger.
just from the eating and healthcare standpoint, give some top things, top 2, 3, 5, why eating your guys' is not just Brush Creek Valley Farms, farmers, good farmers beef is more important. What that does to your health.
Well, man, I wish I
This is
had
all
like a
you.
pen and paper here to write some stuff out. Well, I mean, the nutrients in beef alone, whether it's like beef, elk, things like that. I mean,
Ruminant animals
The
in general.
ruminant animals. It's just we've got the fat soluble and water soluble vitamins that our bodies actually absorb is pretty incredible. You
Yep.
can't find that in any other animal or food product
Yeah.
anywhere,
Yeah.
as far as I know. Oh, bison too.
Yeah.
We don't have bison and elk, but we've got beef. And those three, I mean, they're so good for us to consume. It's what we were meant to consume.
Yeah.
So, I mean, high protein, good fats. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling now. But just the vitamins and trace minerals that we absorb. I mean, even pork and chicken don't hold a candle to beef,
Right.
honestly,
Yeah.
with what it does for our bodies.
That's so good.
Yeah, and if people can just remember like the whole American Heart Association fiasco, you know, they made fat look bad
Yeah.
and anything lean look better. If you can just get that out of your minds.
Yeah.
Supporting local, you know, that we don't put hormones in our food. We don't put anything in our food. Our steaks aren't going to look perfect because we have people cutting them themselves.
Yeah.
It's just our beef are different sizes. If it looks perfect, it's probably not what you want to
Yeah.
eat.
Right.
It's just how
That's
it is.
so
But
And you had mentioned the dyes.
we had mentioned the dyes that they put.
How-
I mean, and even high-end places, it's what they do.
Yeah.
And I am so blessed to have a farm and provide this food for my kids from the time they're eating ground beef and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so happy about that. I mean, you can tell a difference, honestly, in the way that their skin looks and the way that they act,
absolutely.
the way they sleep. Like, if my kids eat like crap at I love her. They're nanas.
Oh,
For
I
the
get it.
weekend or even just one day, you know they're acting completely
Yeah.
different. They're
Yeah.
not sleeping that well. They're pooping green from all the
Yeah.
what is it?
Fruit
the
Loops
fruit
and
snacks
Gummy
they're eating.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, and when they've got good muscle. It's just one of the best things you can do for your kids. They'll eat better. They'll sleep better.
Yeah.
They look better. I mean, you
Yeah.
can tell their skin just looks better.
Yeah.
One of the things we
Their
ought to do
teeth.
before we do this part 2 is we ought to take, because we've been talking about doing this for a while, but we never have, is test our ground beef and then test like average store-bought ground beef. And then we can actually do like a side-by-side comparison of
I'll run
nutrition.
down the
That'd be
schnooks right
fun.
here in a minute. We'll get some.
We
We'll
could.
right outside.
You know
We
what?
could.
We really should and just grill like one patty versus the other, and you can
That'd be
see
great for
like
social
the
media
runoff.
purposes too.
I'll have Cheney film it.
Absolutely.
If you guys want to do it today, we'll do it
could.
today.
Yeah.
Cheney will film it. We'll get you
Cheney
the content.
loves
Yeah,
that.
yeah, sure, that'd be great.
I'm fine with that.
Just so
Come
they
on
can
down.
see.
Then,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if I answered all the questions.
No.
I can
Oh,
probably
and one good
go
thing
on
about,
and on
Oh,
about.
that was perfect.
If you are interested in organ meat, bones, anything like that, contact your local farmer because we do have, that is something that we do sell that a lot of grocery stores don't carry. And there's high nutrition value in that stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like beef liver and things
Yeah.
like that. Oh man, yeah, we
Bone
could
marrow
talk all
is
day.
my favorite new thing.
Okay. All right.
I've heard great things about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Oh my
you
gosh,
feel
I
amazing
should've
after
brought
eating it
you
too.
that.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Make your own bone broth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds like we've got plenty of part 2 because now
Heck
we're going
yeah.
to start. I know you guys have brought some stuff up here for today. We'll
did.
see how fast it runs out. I'm hoping.
Y'all missed out.
We've partnered with Dogs on
If you're
Duty here.
listening
We've got
now.
dogs on. So they raise
They're
working
so
dogs,
cute. You guys
service
can't
dogs.
see
This
them,
is
but I
pretty
can,
cool.
and I'm
So
obsessed.
what's better than
All the puppies.
trained dogs, and good fresh beef? Like we're gonna have it
Yes.
here today.
Yeah. Most of them are therapy dogs. There's some working dogs out
So
there.
also too, I'm gonna put you on the spot here real quick before we sign this one off.
All right.
You're supposed to say yes. You can say no, but I think you're gonna say yes, and we'll figure out the details here in a minute. One thing I would like to do with you guys is we have a lot of new clients coming through the door right now. One, obviously, people who aren't clients aren't going to see this, and they're probably still going to order beef from you. But also, our new clients, would you be opposed? Would you be willing to put together a special code for us to where maybe on their first order from you guys, they would get
Oh,
a
absolutely.
percentage off or
I-
something?
Yeah, definitely. I actually thought about doing it. I just kind of forgot.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
was
that's
gonna,
great.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, no, that'd be great.
So here it is.
Yep,
Anybody from here going forward, and then until Raquel and
they
Matt
cut it
say
off.
shut it down.
Yep.
We're gonna work out a deal with Brush Creek Valley Farms. I'm literally looking at your logo to make sure I say it right. Brush Creek Valley Farms, dude. Every time, bro. I'm telling you.
It's okay.
But we're going to put a code together to where all of our new clients going forward, whether it's a free item or a percentage off, whatever you guys want to do, we're going to give you guys some sort of discounted
Yes.
access for at least your first order to Brush Creek Valley Farms. That way you can experience the
Yay.
beef. I think that would be
Yes.
very
Experience
lucrative
it
for
for
you guys.
sure.
And
Yeah.
I think there's going to be repeat customers for sure for
Yes.
that.
And
then-
don't hold back. Get yourself a box. Get yourself something. Because I tell you what, I'm telling you from somebody from
What-
experience, it
what-
is nuts the difference, and you will never go back.
What would you say if somebody's going to order a meat box,
Mm-hmm.
like just a good, well-rounded meat box? What does it have in it? What does it cost?
What kind did you bring up today? You brought
I
like
brought up a few different ones.
couple different varieties.
So I've got large boxes and small boxes. If they're a family, get the variety meat box. I've got breakfast, lunch, and dinner meats in there. Couple steaks, couple pounds of burger, some bacon, good variety of beef and pork. Then the sampler box, it's a little bit smaller. The variety meat box, that's $160.
Okay.
So that would feed a whole family, for about a month
Yum.
is how
Oh,
we
wow.
have that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Come on,
Yeah,
people.
and there's just a lot of different things in there for you. And then the sampler is basically that cut in half for $87.
Amazing.
We do that for smaller families or just
Yeah.
single guys. And so, yeah, but if they go on the website.
$87 to eat for 2 weeks, great beef.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
It's only going to last a week because you're going to want to eat it all, and then you'll
Oh,
pay
yeah,
twice as
you're
much to
kidding.
keep it.
But then you don't go
keep
to
it
the
in
store
stock.
buying a bunch of crap, so you probably will still save money.
Yeah,
Oh,
you don't
that's
go
what
through
our
all the
family
extra
says.
aisles.
That's right.
Yes,
100%
exactly.
Stay
Exactly.
outside. That's the
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Literally outside. Get outside to Cuba, Missouri. Go pick your cow that you want. That's the best
want-
food
Yeah.
you can eat.
You could.
I
People
know
have
the
done that.
people will get you
Really?
access.
Oh my God.
We'll put
Yeah.
you on a side by side, and you can go pick your cow.
Yeah.
Actually, that seems like fun. Let's do that. Kind of like pick your app, pick
Okay.
your own orchard.
Wait, okay,
Yeah.
I
Okay,
would do
hang on.
it.
Hang
I
on.
would do
Well,
it.
you guys need to come out sometime anyway.
We got to
do,
shut this
we
down.
do.
I'm going to
Okay.
leave everybody
Okay, sorry.
cliffhanging, not because we're out of time, but because we're about to collaborate on something big here, and I'm going to make everybody wait for it. I
Are you
honestly
making
have a
us wait
great-
for it?
Yes, yes.
Oh no.
We're going to put together a code for all of our new clients going forward. We'll get access to our current clients. We'll get that to them as well. But any new clients going forward from here until the end of whoever's days comes first, which is going to be never, because we're going to leave a legacy with both brands.
Heck yes.
We're going to work together to give you guys access to this beef at a discounted price, at least on your initial. And we'll go from there. And we are about to talk about something that would be very awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
Can't wait
this
for
is
part
fun.
2.
Either.
Yeah.
See ya!